I think of how Rudy's approaching the work is he's approaching the work metaphorically. Insurgent is not, there's no job. There's no job. He's using that metaphor. And I think it's a very powerful metaphor, although I do find personally difficult to play with it. I'm not familiar enough with it to play with it yet, though I'm getting familiar with it. A metaphor that I find more helpful now, until I can get up to speed on Insurgent, is a metaphor of pioneering. That we need to go to a place and be in a way we've never been before. We've created a digital age that we don't know if we'll survive. We've never had to be church or be faithful in this, right? How do you be church in a milieu, in an era that we've never seen before? What does it mean to be faithful? We know what it used to mean to be faithful. What this means now is, how do you get a pioneer's mentality and not look for everything to be the same? How do you get in that kind of snowball wagon and go and not look back? Right? What does that mean? How do you live with newness all the time and not knowing what's around the curve? Knowing that you're already in a risky life, knowing you're already in danger all the time, but that's the way it is.
I would just add, in the book, Pastor Rudy basically, as an end result, speaks to either chaos or community. And I hear in his commentary now that he's wrestling with this notion of either chaos or community. If you look historically, it hasn't been a choice between chaos or community. You've seen new forms of religious expressions emerge, and those old structures, what John Reeder continue in zombie categories, right? And actually, in the book I recommended, Reconstructing Practical Theology, that author basically takes that argument that actually what we've kind of called the emerging church might be understood as these new forms of religious expression emerging in this context that we're all wrestling with, right? But John Reeder would argue, and I would argue also, that at the same time that some insurgents will move to the margins, right? That some of these institutional forms will remain and they'll just be dead.